I guess starting off with everybody, where's everybody at right now? Where are you located?
Let's go.
Well, yeah.
I'm in Livonia, Michigan.
Back home? You
Yeah,
guys?
back home, Livonia.
Yeah.
I'm in Middleborough, Mass. Back home, my parents as well.
I'm in France. It's 5 p.m. right now. Back home with my parents.
I saw the backdrop, Sam. You made a little video for us. That's an unreal view
Yeah,
you got over there.
Oh my God.
yeah. We live in the Alps, so it's pretty cool.
Jeez.
Pretty cool view.
Oh man, have you guys been going crazy during this quarantine?
We've been actually rebuilding our house, so I've been kind of busy. I just took a pause from painting the house right now, but just working out in the morning and then working on around the house in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We've been project heavy in our house. We've been so I'll work out in the mornings, try to get some work done if I have any, which usually don't. And then we've built cornhole. My dad and I have built a cornhole setup. My brother's building a golf simulator in our garage. He's already built a desk for his basement. So things are just being built left and right. And we built a shooting area and a gym downstairs. So it's been kind of fun trying to stay busy.
Yeah, I'm just working out, doing my schoolwork. I actually have classes unlike these two guys.
Sam, and signing in the AHL after the season ended. What was that like playing a couple of games, and what was it like when all this COVID-19 thing hit and it was just a quick end to the season?
Well, first it was awesome news, be able to keep playing after the season. I only got one game in, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. Obviously, what happened with the coronavirus kind of ended my, not chances, but I was there on a tryout, so I needed a couple more games. But it is what it is. It's the same problem for everyone, so can't complain.
Yeah. And so you three guys, you were there all 4 years at Merrimack, and just want to ask about like the end of the season and the end of the career for you guys. Really kind of a high note with that series against Providence. How was that emotionally those last few games?
I know for me it was great to go out kind of on that note. Obviously, we missed playoffs, which was a goal we set for ourselves, not only as a team but as seniors going into our last year. That we really wanted to make a splash, and I think a lot of people counted us out throughout the year just because of how different our team looked and how young. So it would have been nice to jump in the playoffs and make some heads turn, which I really believe we could have done. Obviously, that didn't go that way. So ending with the Providence series, I mean, in my eyes, was my playoff series senior year. So I think that was one of, if not my favorite college memory for sure. And just, I mean, it was so fun over 4 years, especially with these guys. And I always dreamed that I would be winning 4 championships in 4 years, and that obviously didn't happen. But like I said, that Province series was like my mini championship for me at least. And I tried telling some of the freshmen, like, you'll understand when you're a senior how much that weekend alone meant to us to win that at home, end your last home game with a win, and then sweep one of the best teams in the country. And we treated it as if it was our first playoff series. So, I mean, for me, it was a great feeling.
Yeah. For you, Sam, your TI, I mean, same kind of question. What was it like to, end maybe a tough season with such a high note like that?
I think ending with that high note, I mean, it just with the younger team, and we worked so hard all season, it just leads them into next season. They'll be that much better. So, I mean, the future is so bright, and, I'm happy to help some of the younger guys out.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Ending, well, at least the senior night was pretty cool to get a sweep off Providence, first time ever for us three, I believe. So that was a pretty cool experience. And, having that lap, us three at the end of the game at home, that was really cool. And then obviously we didn't end up achieving what we wanted, but that weekend was definitely the best weekend of the season at least.
That lap they talked about, that's something I'll never forget either. I mean, that'll stay with me forever.
For sure.
That was awesome, yeah.
Yeah. Talking about the lap on senior night, and you mentioned, trying to leave the program in a good spot. I remember, Scott Borick talking about how important that last weekend was. When you left that last couple weekends, how'd you feel like you had really left an impact on the program over your 4 years?
I felt like, kind of like Ti said just a few moments ago, that we may not have achieved our goals, but we're leaving the program in a better place. And Coach Bork always talked about like setting the foundation for future teams, and I think that started with last year's group under Coach Bork, the first foundation, and we were just the next layer to that foundation. And it's frustrating that we didn't get to achieve our goals that we set out as a team, but knowing that we've left the program in a better place, that it felt good that after the game, coach comes in and says that next year when the team has to play Providence, Merrimack, Providence, both schools, both student sections, both fan bases are thinking about the previous series, which we won at home to close out that series. So I like T.I. said, I think the future is bright for this team. I think there's only bright futures ahead for them, and that's exciting to know that we had a part in that in a unique way that didn't end with a piece of hardware or something physical to remember it by, but something that we can look back on and say it was the first couple steps to starting Merrimack and do something special.
And you mentioned the Providence series as one of the top memories. How about you, Ti or Sammy? What are some of the other best memories on the ice over the past 4 years?
Well, I have one. It's definitely I think it was sophomore year when we beat Lowell back-to-back OT at Lowell, and then almost beat BC at BC to make it to the Garden. I think we lost like 1-0 or 2-1 in OT, and 1-0 the first game or something. It was so close, like, and I believe that year we could have made something happen, even though we didn't have the best regular season, but in playoffs we just kind of took off. Everyone was going, and we had a really good group. And then, so I mean, for hockey wise, that was probably the best achievement, I'd say, because that's when we were really close to make it to the Garden. So hockey-wise, I would definitely pick those playoff series.
I agree with Sammy. I mean, there's nothing like winning a playoff series. You go into UMass Lowell, everyone's doubting you. You beat them, then you go to BC, and you keep it so close, and you just come up short in overtime. Those are the best on ice. So then off ice, I mean, with these guys, just so many memories, whether it's in the locker room or just at school in the calf. So many great memories.
I think the cool thing about that playoff series was we came back after we beat Lowell, and they had buses for the student section, which we had more fans than Lowell did at Lowell, which was cool. And we get off the bus, and there's just students everywhere with like a tunnel for us to get back to the locker room. And it was probably one of the coolest things I've ever had to walk through, coming off the bus, which was pretty unique. So I remember that. That was crazy.
Yeah. Could you guys always feel it in your 4 years, kind of the fan presence? It seems like there's such a good following for you guys on campus.
Yeah, I think the student section is always there to motivate us, and you don't hear everything they say, but just the noise and the energy you could feel, and it really helps us out during the season.
Yeah. And you guys mentioned the Lowell rivalry. What other teams did you feel like you usually got up a little bit more for throughout your career?
To me, I always answer this, and people make fun of me for it, but I honestly say everyone in Hockey East. I mean, I felt like everyone was our rival. I mean, obviously, you have the Lowell, which is big down the street, and I always thought we played UMass hard in my 4 years, and they were, they got real good, and those were always good games. But I mean, in my opinion, I just felt like every time we had to play a Hockey East game, it was like a playoff game to us, especially the last 2 years where, only certain amount of teams make playoffs, so each game's so valuable. I know going to Maine's another animal, and I think no matter who you are in the country, if you have to go play up in Maine, that you're going to be up, and you have to be up and ready to go for that game.
Yeah. And TS started hitting on it, but how about you, Sammy, or do you have any other off-ice memories, anything in particular that you remember over your 4 years?
Well, I'd say there's a lot of things that I can't probably say them here, but
yeah.
I mean, definitely springtime is always fun with the guys when the season ends. You can off ice, obviously you're still working hard, but kind of like take it easy mentally. So I picked probably the spring. We're having fun. The sun's coming out. And lots of things involved. I'm not gonna say everything, but you know what I mean. So yeah, the spring was fun.
I would say I agree with Sam, like a lot of things in spring that we'll just leave it at that. I know like when they do the spring concerts and the spring weekend, like that's always a good time because you kind of get to just relax and enjoy different aspect of the college life. I know for me, I love the intramural softball that we played. It was always fun when we figured, but I mean, we always came up short in that too. We couldn't get a championship in that one either, but that was a lot of fun because it was just like you got to play another sport. And, none of us were anything special, and it was fun to play. It was fun to get away from the rink and get on the turf.
I love it. I'd love to get an answer from all you guys on this, but we talked about the program building, and if you were talking to say like a 16-year-old kid right now that was looking to find a place to play, what would you say to them in terms of trying to draw them to Merrimack, and how would you kind of sell the program right now?
You want to go, Jeff?
Sure. I think the first word I would talk about is passion. 'Cause I think Merrimack's such a passionate school, whether it's the sports, the academics, or even just the faculty that work. I mean, one thing I think goes really unnoticed that I think these guys could agree, the people who even work in the CAF, like Deb, she's crazy, but she's so passionate about her job. She loves it. And I think that's just, it's silly to say, but it's like a small, factor into Merrimack. And obviously there's so many variables that go into choosing a college, especially at that young age. That, I mean, you look back on, you really, it's hard to make that decision, a life decision at such a young age. But I think Merrimack has so much going for it right now with like I said, not just the athletics, but everything around the school with the upgrades and the excitement around campus. And even the other sports going Division I, like it was exciting. I know a bunch of us were going to the football games, and that atmosphere is just – and then on top of that, like hockey's still, a big part of that school, and you get a lot of, fan support. And, I mean, I still get chills every day. Well, I used to when I used to throw the jersey on, and it's just such a passionate school. It's such a family-type atmosphere, tight-knit group, small community, where, I felt there's so many different avenues for, if you had to reach out to someone or had support from. And I'm talking not just athletically, but, academically, or even just living-wise and whatnot. So.
Yeah, I think Merrimack, I mean, when you commit there, you just have so much potential. I mean, from getting that diploma, from playing in Hockey East, you can make anything happen if you take advantage of it. And it was a great spot to land.
Yeah, for me, when I picked Merrimack, was part of the reason was because it's a small school and it's easy to get to know people, and it was easier for me as a foreign kid in classes. Like you're closer to your professors, so it was not as hard. You can always be in contact with them, and then having an opportunity to not say like play right away, but some other schools might be harder and more you know competition there. So those reasons were probably why I picked Merrimack.
Nice. Well, appreciate it, guys. And talking about young guys, there are 16 freshmen this year. What was that like to have that many young guys around the dressing room? It must have been a little different.
I mean, I was nervous at first, but once they got it, we all spent the summer together and we all bonded right away. It felt like a family. It's crazy. You meet so many new guys. You're like, man, I'm not going to get to know this kid that well. And you end up getting to know them all that well. And then, coming from juniors and to play in college, it's a big jump, but all the guys we got were all mature. They were all leaders on their old teams. They came back. They were all leaders here too. So it's great.
I thought it would be kind of funny just because I'm like one of the older guys on the team, 24 years old. Like, how am I going to connect with a 18, 19-year-old? I mean, if anything, they made me feel like I was 18, 19 again. So there was no issues with whether they were freshmen or we were seniors.
Who doesn't make you feel like you're 18?
I probably could do another 4 years of college if they let me, if the coach lets me back on the team.
And last question for me, guys. These past 4 years, how do you think this prepared you for, the rest of your lives, being out of college now, or soon to be out of college?
You got it, Drive.
Want me to go? For me, I mean, I always felt like juniors made me mature for college, and now college makes me mature for the real life, real world. Obviously, I want to stay in the hockey, keep playing. And I think just with that avenue, I'm still trying to find a team for next year. And I don't feel nervous at all. I'm pretty confident that Merrimack's prepared me, both as a hockey player, but as a man to be able to, have a real world, have a real life where, I'm going to have bills and live that way. And then obviously life after hockey, I'm pretty confident that Merrimack has shown me so many different avenues I can take my education. I got really passionate into the commentary, play-by-play when I was at Merrimack doing the women's games and other sports, and I had a fun, blast doing it. So, now that's something where before college I never thought I could maybe see myself doing, but now, hopefully I have a long and healthy playing career. But, after that, maybe that's something I can dip into which involves my education. So, along with different things, but it just, I think any college you go to is going to prepare you for the real world, but Merrimack had that, special bond where like Sammy said, you kind of get to know everyone. So the amount of relationships you've built and connections now, I'm not nervous at all at making that next step and next chapter in my life. I'm, if not, very excited and ready to make that jump, whether it's playing or years later it's getting a job with my education. So, and I think the biggest takeaway for me is, no matter how hard life gets, especially with this virus going on, like I have best friends for life. I have these two guys. I have teammates over 4 years that, I still talk to guys from all 4 years. And I think that's the beauty of hockey and sports, that no matter, how hard your life gets at some point, like you have guys to lean on that, these relationships I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, I would probably pick, relationships made, especially on the ice. That's pretty obvious, in hockey. It's a tight world, and it's always good to know, even if we don't play hockey anymore, relationships to have for whatever you have. But school-wise, I would pick those relationships because, it's, you never know, like especially for us three or business majors, and they're always important to have those contacts.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, guys. I appreciate the time, so much. But anything else I guess you want to add, or any haircuts coming up soon?
I'm going to get rid of the beard after quarantine, that's for sure. This is my quarantine beard. I just wanted to represent how long. Obviously, it's been a long time. I was telling Will before these boys jumped on, I think I'm going to grow the hair out for next season, go long hair again. For
you look good with
long track, but yeah.